Hi, Gemini Sun and Rising. Welcome to your February 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. February is a month every year, at least the first few weeks of the month, where you have the Sun in a friendly angle to both the Sun and the Ascendant in Gemini, called a trine. A trine is a cooperative angle, meaning that the two planets or points that are coming together are working in harmony with one another. You know, if you have a square, which you will be having when the energy goes into Pisces, there's friction. But one thing to remember is not to just characterize things as good and bad, because um, the square can spur you to action, to say, I want to change this situation, while the trine can lull you into a false um, sense of security and lead you to become complacent and think, I'll get to that later, because things seem like they're flowing so easily for you, but then you don't really do what you need to do, and it ends up where you're, you know, not having what you want in life, because you thought it was just you took it for granted. So, that being said, let's look at how this is going to affect you. So, that trine that I'm talking about is coming from the ninth house. That's where the Aquarius energy is. And it's important to note that this is a general reading. And, some of these transits may not be exactly where I say they are in your chart because of the degree of sun or rising that you have. So just keep that in mind. But the ninth house is the house of your opposite sign, Sagittarius, my sun sign. And Sag is all about expansion. So whether it's mental expansion by going to college, or by thinking these high philosophical or spiritual thoughts, Sag is the sage, whether it is long distance travel, where you are experiencing expansion through geography, or whether it is expansion through, I don't know. I think of, like, I was talking about philosophical thought, but yeah, anything where you're improving your life, your spirituality, so you're expanding that way. This may be happening in full effect because you also have Saturn ending its transit. This will be the last full month of Saturn in Aquarius in this particular house. Saturn is going to go into Pisces on the 7th of March. So then it's going to go into your 10th house of career. So, anyway, so the sun is in that area. And on the 5th of the month, we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Leo. When we have a full moon, the sun is opposing the moon, meaning it's in the opposite sign and in the opposite house. So you have, for you, Leo is the third house, which is the house that you rule in astrology, Gemini. So you are an expert of what the third house represents, namely communication. Whether you're teaching somebody something or you're learning something, whether you are blogging about something, vlogging about something, writing a novel, you are that's something that comes naturally to you, natural. And the full moon here, by the way, the full moon, the third house can also be siblings, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. And full moon can mean that you're learning about somebody that represents that. Also, neighbors are third house. So you might find out some news about them. Breaking news, that could be the third house. Now, for some people, they may have to end contact with a sibling because they're just, it just isn't working, and here we are in February, a couple of months from, or even less than that, from the holidays. And sometimes people kind of reconnect and then think that they can have a relationship, and then they realize that they can't. So it could be ending ties. It takes two. You have to have both people that are willing to make it work. And some people are just into drama, right? So Gemini people don't typically like those who are into drama, and you may just decide to let it go. And it's not that you're doing it maliciously, but there you might find out something about a relative. Um, the third house can be any kind of realization that you have. This is the house of the mind. So anything that it like dawns on you, you have an epiphany, that could be what is going on at this time. And because it's Leo, it can be especially about something that has to do with creativity and your own way of doing something. So, because this is your house with writing, I would say especially with that. Some of you may be great writers and you don't even do it. And you realize, you know what, I am going to do it. Or maybe you're finishing a writing project at this time. On the 11th, your ruler Mercury goes into Aquarius. So it is going into this 9th house. If you are planning on traveling, you're getting your passport together. Mercury can be your papers, all of your documents, I said passport. All of that together. You're buying your ticket. Mercury in the 9th house could be studying a foreign language. Maybe it's even studying abroad. That Mercury can be your studies. And also, the 9th house is higher education, so there might be something along the lines of that you're dealing with. Maybe you're enrolling in college or what have you. On the 18th, the sun goes into Pisces, so here we have the 10th house of career. And you already have Neptune there. You've had Jupiter run through there as well. And not right now, but in recent months, Jupiter was there. And the sun is there with Neptune. Not in conjunction, but in the same sector. Some Gemini people, it's like the Seven of Cups in the tarot, where you may find it hard to decide what you want to be when you grow up, with Neptune in that 10th. I think the sun entering this sector is almost like a preview of what Saturn is going to be when it enters your 10th house in just a matter of weeks, because Saturn goes into Pisces on the 7th of March. And, Saturn rules the 10th house of career, so it's going to be in its own domain. But until then, um, and by the way, it'll join Neptune there, which will be kind of interesting because they couldn't be two different, more different types of influences if they tried. A couple of days after the sun entering this 10th house, there's a new moon here at 1 degree of Pisces. So, this is really, I feel like there's really big things on the horizon for you, Gemini, as it pertains to career matters. But you may have to work for it. And Saturn is not about shortcuts. But you can do the work that you do right now for the next few years could, um, serve you for years to come. So don't shy away from it. So for some of you, this is about stepping into almost like a mentor position where you are now the person who everyone looks to for guidance. And I would say, especially if you are having your second Saturn return, if you are in your late 50s, that you are going to be, thrust into that role perhaps. And if you, welcome it, you will be doing so much good for others that are coming up after you. And you will probably, I have a feeling, you will probably feel very fulfilled by that. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are starting a whole new type of career because the new moon is only at 1 degree of Pisces. And that means that because it's an early degree, it could be like really choosing something totally different. And on the same day, Venus goes into Aries. So Venus goes into the 11th house, and this is the house of gains, meaning your money situation as it pertains to the work that you're doing, your career matters, and that could be very good for that because Venus going here. Venus can be, mean money. Jupiter is in this sector as well, so that kind of enhances what I just said. Also, anything to do with social life, like I said, Jupiter is there and Venus is entering, and both of these planets are called benefics. They really assist things. They make things easy to do. The 11th house is a very social house. You're already a very social type of person anyhow, so you probably enjoy meeting new people, expanding your social network. Well, that could certainly be happening. You could be very social at this time, Gemini. I have a feeling that you're going to like the month of February of 2023. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care.